Hello guys, welcome to Major's Garage. This is Suellio. Today we're going to see my lap here with the MP4 at Motegi. So let's go straight to this first corner. Very tricky one because it is a double apex. So basically what I do here is I treat all this like a one single apex. And I am going to put an imaginary apex at the very middle, in between the two apexes. So here, let's see what I do. We can see clearly the two apexes there, very clearly. Basically, I'm gonna carry a lot of speed on the first one, and I'm still braking. As you can see, I'm gonna put my minimum speed exactly in between them. So here it is. I'm starting to get back on the throttle, probably a little bit before it, but as you can see, it's roughly in between the two apexes. So this is my minimum speed point, my imaginary apex where I'm going to put the power down, and then after that, I'm basically just controlling and applying the throttle as much as I can without losing the rear. So again, I'm braking a little bit before the 50, probably in between the 150. We could consider it as a 75 meter. And then I'm turning very gently, knowing that my apex is not here. My apex is here. So here I am applying the throttle. I want to be as close as possible to the second apex here, but my actual priority here is to really put the power down and push the car all the way to the exit. As you can see, I'm quickly applying my throttle to the traction limit, which is around 50%, and then I'm gradually increasing more until 100%. Then we go for this next corner, the second hairpin basically. I'm using the 70 as a reference. I'm braking always slightly before it. As you can see, if we think about it, I'm actually starting to brake at the 100, but I'm really looking at the 70 when I'm coming to this corner. My maximum pressure will be a little bit in between, so let's say 85, 87, something like that. But yeah, I really only think about the 70. Really waiting the car to stop. I'm actually maintaining the 100% brakes for a quite a considerable amount of time here because I'm using the medium brake pads. And then as I start turning in, here you can see my brakes coming down accordingly in relation to how much I steer. Then I get to this apex here. This is where I basically consider the apex and where we more or less want to get back on the power because there will be enough room for you to be pushing the car forward, get here on the outside, and still come back here. All that on the throttle. I kind of waited a little bit and got back on the throttle a little bit after the apex, but I was still able to carry a lot of speed. And again, got quickly to 50% and then very progressively started going up here and really trying to feel that the rear tires are on the limit. Here what I do is I really pay attention to the upshift. It's very dangerous to just go flat out and then upshift to fifth gear. That can make the car instantly spin. The upshift is a very dangerous thing. It can make the car lose traction for a very small amount of time, but enough to make the car completely lose balance. So as you can see here, I'm still on fourth. I am very careful, still not full throttle. And then when I get really late, as you can see, I'm actually even waiting a little bit more and having my revs all the way up on the fourth gear because I'm basically waiting so I can upshift to fifth when I'm a little bit safer with less rotation later in the corner. Then we go for this very fun corner. I'm braking around the 100, but I'm not actually looking at the 100. I'm looking at this lights here, the green light. I'm braking a little bit before it. My maximum pressure is in between the 100 and the green lights. Again, as always in this track, we have very hard braking zones, and I'm really waiting there. You can see I'm considerably maintaining the brakes on 100%, waiting for the car to stop. And then here I actually have just to release a little bit before turning because we need to wait the car to stop a little bit more. And then at this point, I am already losing a little bit of downforce. So if I just maintain to 100 before turning, the car could lock up the tires. So releasing a little bit before turning, and then as I start turning, really, I release much more. And then quite patient here, low RPM. So I think I am at third or fourth gear. Yeah, this is exactly fourth gear, so you can see I'm on a low RPM here, so when I apply the throttle, I don't have too much torque, and the car rotates very smoothly here. Then just flat out for this right-hander, preparing for the S's. Here I'm using the beginning of the curb, the white one, as a reference to start braking. I brake quite hard, but not for long. I'm already releasing and really thinking about turning quite late because we want a later apex here, so we can prepare the next corner with a good line. So as you can see, I'm getting quite late to the curb, still bringing to the right here, and then I kind of changing direction also a little bit late because I also want a later apex on the second one. So here I am still closing in, still closing in, still closing in, but already on the throttle. And then as you can see, I'm actually using the curb all until the end, and then really putting the power down as much as the traction limit allows me, helping the car a little bit to rotate with the application of the throttle. Then be careful to not to be braking in a bad line here. Really bring the car early to the right. So before braking, you can see how I'm already on the right, and I'm basically braking on a straight line here, letting the car go a little bit over the curb so you can prepare a very late apex for this corner. And here I am basically using the curb, mostly the second half of it until the end, basically, and really having a better exit. Then we have this hairpin, basically. I'm using the 50 as a reference, but I'm always braking a little bit before the 50 because D50 is really, really too late. You can get away by braking a little bit later, but this is already quite late. As you can see, I'm actually really, really, really making a later apex here, so I can have a good exit. It's a pretty long hairpin. And then for this corner, I'm braking at D100. And again, as most corners here, I'm really waiting for the car to stop, maintaining 100% until I really feel the car is slow enough to lose brake performance. So I start releasing the brakes a little bit, and I start turning when my brakes are already around 75%. We want to use this curb, although don't use it too much because it can make the car upset here when you go back to the track. This car starts bouncing a little bit too much. As you can see, it's basically bouncing just a little bit here, but this is completely safe. But if you use more of it, you don't even get enough track, but the car is really unsettled on the exit. So I prefer to use a little bit less so I can really apply the power as soon as we hit the apex. As you can see here, as always, quick application to around 50%, and then progressively going up as the traction limit allows. Then bring the car all the way to the left here, really using a lot of this so you can prepare a very good line for this one. You don't necessarily need to clip this first curb here. You can just go wider here because the next this kind of chicane is the most important one. So I'm opening up a lot so I can really use it. We could use a little bit more of this curb here. I was a little bit too safe on this one. We definitely can use a little bit more. So we can basically stay as much to the left as possible here. So when you start turning, you have this good line for the exit. Here you can also use the grass, but it is a little bit dangerous because of the power of the car. If you basically clip the grass, the car can be a little bit upset, and when you apply the power, it can lose the rear. So I prefer to use just the first one, although I did not use in this lap. We can use a little bit more than that because here we are not applying the throttle, we're just braking, so it's gonna be okay. And then trying to change direction here for a good line, always prioritizing the exits. And as always, getting back on the throttle quickly to the traction limit, which is around 50%, and then gradually increasing as the traction limit goes up. So yep, here it is. The lap time was a 1:23.7. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you next week. Bye bye.